Azadpur Mandi in northeast Delhi, sprawled over more than 90 acres, is touted as Asia's largest wholesale fruit and vegetable market. It is also referred to as the Mandi that never sleeps. Like every day, fresh vegetables have arrived from all parts of the country, but the market has opened to a slow trading day. Trading in farm produce in this part of the world has always been a volatile business, a struggle for traders to get good prices. Moreover, with every hour being crucial for these massive quantities of raw food, fragile and perishable in humid weather, and most of which have already traversed long distances by road and rail, food wastage has always been the central problem.
बहुत ज़्यादा बर्बाद होती है यहाँ पर। हाँ जी, बहुत नुकसान होता है। देखो, हम जैसे बैठे हुए हैं ऐसे हम ये सोचते हैं 2 पैसे मिले, वो 2 पैसे भी हमारे चले जाते हैं। इतना पानी के अंदर बैठते हैं यहाँ पर हम।
Vishal, known popularly as Sunny, is a leading capsicum trader at the Mandi. His consignments arrive from all over India, including Shimla, Jammu and Pune. But in the absence of an integrated cold chain system and much of produce marketing still following age-old trade practices, a big chunk of his vegetable lot often perishes during the long road journeys.
अगर लोडिंग वहाँ से किसान गलत कर देता है तो ये माल जहाँ डैमेज 10% निकल रहा है वो डैमेज 50 से 60% या 70% तक भी चला जाता है। ऐसा ये मान लो कि हफ्ते में एक आध कोई ऐसा किसान आया था जिसको हम समझा नहीं पाते। सपोज करो ये बॉक्स जो है सांगली के अंदर 80 रुपये का मिल रहा है, किसान कहता है डब्बे में तो माल भरना है, मैं 50 रुपये वाला डब्बा लगा देता हूँ। तो 50 रुपये 30 रुपये डब्बे के अंदर बचाने के चक्कर में क्या होता है, डब्बे में जो माल भरा जाता है डब्बे में स्टैंडिंग पावर नहीं रहती और माल जो है रास्ते के सफ़र में गर्म होने की वजह से बैठ जाता है, इससे माल डैमेज हो जाता है।
It is a sad irony that in India, counted amongst the 20 worst countries suffering from acute levels of hunger, up to 40% of its fruits and vegetables remain unsold in the market. Most of it going to waste and rotting in sewages due to gaps in the supply chain. Chubamila Jamir, a researcher on food security issues, stresses on the problem not just centering on the amount of food, but on nutritional losses as well.
There are various studies. Some studies put it around 20%, but some studies goes as high as 40%. So it's difficult to put exact figure on how much is wasted. But the fact remains that whether it is a developed country or developing country, still food is wasted. The numbers are different, but irrespective of the numbers, good amount of food is wasted. The only difference is that there is a difference between the nature of food that is wasted between developing and developed countries. Most of the time in developing countries, food wastage takes place between farm to retail, whereas in developed countries, it's between retail to consumer.
With a population of more than 1.2 billion people, India is one of the topmost countries to waste enormous amounts of food every day. According to a report by the Department of Agriculture, every year approximately 50,000 crores worth of food produced in the country goes to waste. The problem is not restricted to raw food alone. Lavish weddings, burgeoning hotel and restaurant chains, large-scale events have all contributed equally to food wastage.
When I was 22 years old, I was doing a corporate job in Gurgaon, and at that point of time I happened to visit a wedding not very far away from my house. Incidentally, a wedding where there were more than 35 cuisines of food which were being served. And while I was there with my friends, a thought came to my mind, which is, what would happen to that surplus food, that excess food that would be left after the wedding was over? And I went up to the caterer, thinking as a millennial that there would be an answer to this question in a developing country like ours. But the caterer told me that all the extra food that night was going to go into the dustbin. And what was disturbing was that that food could have fed 10,000 people.
Does anyone know which cities? We need to make a list of cities where there's most amount of weddings.
Also destination weddings, even if the city seems it's not a tier 1 city, we have an aim to do many more across multiple cities in India.
And somehow I think population.
Hyderabad.
That was the day Ankit Kawatra gave up a corporate job and decided to do something to address the issue of poverty and hunger in India. His organization, Feeding India, started in 2014, works towards mobilizing people to reduce food wastage and donate excess cooked food to those in need.
Actually, a lot of people don't know that India actually has the highest number of hungry people in the world. A lot of people still think it's Africa, whereas India actually has the highest number of hungry people. Feeding India believes that food should be given to those kinds of people who do not have access to food regularly or otherwise. So we have 5 key people that we give food to. Children, women, elderly, specially abled and migrant workers. These are people who do not get access to food regularly or nutritious food, right? We do not believe in giving food on the streets or just randomly giving out food. The point of the organization is not to serve meals, it's to actually address the problem of hunger.
Close to 200 children of domestic workers come daily to this free-of-cost school run by NGO Dream Girl Foundation. Being a non-governmental school, these children don't have access to midday meals, a government-funded school meal program. Feeding India ensures these students get their meals, the school being one of the daily stops for the organization.
The closest program to my heart is Poshan to Pathshala, which is where kids who come to charitable schools, they usually do not have any incentive to come. Their parents force them to go to garbage dumps. But we really motivate them to come to these schools and we give them a meal as an incentive.
Feeding India today has a network of more than 20,000 volunteers called Hunger Heroes spread across 86 cities. They are the ones who collect surplus food from various sources and carry out the distribution. Apart from the odd weddings and special events, Feeding India works closely with a regular chain of clients. One of their daily collection routines takes place at Light Bite Foods, a leading food and beverage retail company. The surplus food from all their outlets and institutional catering sites is collected by Feeding India in a temperature-controlled vehicle and distributed to this old age home in Gurugram. What was once surplus now serves as a breakfast meal for 30 specially abled women residents supported by the initiative.
We have seen that, if any person has an institutional catering or any catering, if they're serving X number of amount, 7 to 10% of that amount is wasted. So if a particular office has 3,000 employees, excess food would be coming approximately 250 people to 300 people. So can you imagine that, we can feed 250 to 300 people on an everyday basis.
Knowing the extent of raw food wastage in the country, Feeding India also partners with Zomato, a leading food delivery service company, for their initiative at Hyperpure. This here is a B2B warehouse that procures 12 tons of ingredients every day directly from farmers and importers to supply to partner restaurants. The supplies that don't make it to the exacting standards of the culinary world are set aside for Feeding India. Food that is nutritionally rich and ready to be cooked.
आपके लोकेलिटी में अब आप जीरो हंगर चैलेंज लो कि कोई भूखा ना रहे और खाना वेस्ट ना हो। अब मान लीजिए आगे इतने त्योहार आएंगे, दिवाली के टाइम पे कितनी मिठाई बच जाती है, तो वो मिठाई घर में सड़ने से अच्छा यहाँ पर आ जाए तो वो बेहतर है।
The organization has also been working simultaneously to bring in a mindset shift at the community level.
हो गया ना, अब आपके सोसाइटी में ही है।
An end goal that seems far from easy.
We're a food-loving country, right? And we're also aware that there are hungry people. But for some reason, since decades, even in the festivals that we celebrate, we waste a lot of food. I think getting people to change that behavior, getting people to not throw away laddus on Ganesh Chaturthi or great packs of sweets on Diwali. I think that behavioral shift is something which has been the biggest challenge as a country for India and for us as an organization.
आपके घर में जो भी एक्सेस खाना है जो आपने बनाया और कंज्यूम नहीं हो पाया, तो वो खाना अब आप सबको इस फ्रिज में रखना है।
The Happy Fridge initiative under Feeding India has been designed to encourage participation at a more personal level. Set up by the organization at no extra cost in residential areas, it invites people in the neighborhood to drop off any extra food they might have for the sake of the hungry.
We've had instances when people have put up happy fridges in Delhi and there are no beggars in the area anymore because now they have access to food.
Over the last 5 years, Feeding India has served more than 25 million meals. It aims to take the number to 1 billion across 100 cities.
The core mission of the organization is to end hunger and food wastage, and we really excited about this mobile app that we're coming with, which is going to empower people to donate food at the click of a button, no matter where they are, which city they come from, hyperlocally within their city, see people who need food around them and give food directly to. So I think that's the thing we're really, really excited about.